unexplained details in human DNA might be extraterrestrial in origin, some scientists claim. Alien DNA? Humans have extraterrestrial DNA according to research, and there's no such thing as junk DNA. So what do we really know about our species and our origins? The truth is that we are a species with amnesia, a species that cannot fully remember where we come from, what our purpose is, and where we're going to. Even though it might sound surprising to some, researchers can't rule out the possibility that humans are genetic descendants of perhaps extraterrestrial beings who passed their DNA to our species. Many people believe that our ancient alien ancestors encoded valuable information about their dying species, quote unquote, in hopes that their legacy in life would go on through a second species. This, however, is just one of many theories that are being offered in relation to our DNA and our perhaps alien origins. The idea is more than science fiction, as researchers have discovered numerous peculiarities in our DNA that suggest we're a cosmic species, one that has an incredible and unacceptable history behind them. The whole basic idea of the existence of an extraterrestrial DNA embedded into our species originates from two scientific concepts that are anything but explained by scientists. The first one is the incredible complexity of our species, DNA sequence, which, according to researchers around the world, evolved out of separate molecules floating around together. The second one, even more surprising, is the fact that only one small part of our DNA contains genes that make us living beings, and the rest of our DNA is referred to as junk DNA, although I, for one, don't believe that anything that God has made is junk. Now, the whole idea about alien DNA and the possibility of human beings, a race created by some other more advanced species, is fascinating. Nobel Prize winner DNA researcher Francis Crick firmly believed that it was impossible for DNA molecule to be created on Earth by accident. Crick believed that such an intricate and elaborate system could not be the result of the process of evolution, and that something else was behind it all. According to mainstream scientists, they suggest that the evolution of DNA is rather simple. They explain that when our planet was created, atoms and molecules moved around until eventually coming together in water where ideal conditions were met for DNA to be created. In other words, they thought it was such a thing as a random occurrence, whereas Crick believes that it was something created by very high intelligence. Crick feels that his explanation is unlikely and compared the likelihood of DNA evolving in this way to the likelihood of a fully functioning jumbo jet being formed from random debris that was left behind by a hurricane. In other words, it's something that, simply put, could not have occurred. Crick believed life on Earth was seeded by directed panspermia. Crick's, in other words, directed meaning intelligent direction, intelligent knowledge of what was being done. Crick's, in other words, he goes short of calling it God, Crick's revolutionary and controversial theory states that an alien race facing doom wanted to preserve the essence of life and their species and decided to send it to Earth via some sort of spaceship. In other words, this is his theory. It's believed that life came to Earth via a spaceship and not via a meteor, since a space rock would be too exposed to radiation for a long period of time, so it's very unlikely that life on Earth began thanks to a space rock crashing into our planet. Now, if in fact our DNA is an extraterrestrial message, and the so-called junk DNA is in fact messages waiting to be deciphered? Researchers firmly believe that our DNA has parts that apparently have no logical function. They call these useless parts junk DNA because these parts do not have any necessary genes significant for our species. So they believe. I believe that they do have necessary genes, but anyway, perhaps they have not yet been discovered. Going back to this, however, scientists have demonstrated that our DNA can act as a recording device, and they have even been able to record a sound onto the DNA of an E. coli molecule. Crick proposed that the junk DNA present might have had a greater purpose, and it could be the ideal place for an intelligent alien race to record a message. Crick's theory is shared by Professor Paul Davies of the Australian Centre for Astrobiology at Macquarie University in Sydney, who believes the most likely place to find an alien message is in our DNA. Davies believes that a cosmic greeting card could have been left by aliens being in every human cell. Alien beings in every human cell. The coded message would only be discovered once the human race had the technology to read and understand it. Writing in New Scientist magazine, Davis said the idea should be considered seriously. Interestingly, the Human Genome Project has decoded 3.2 million bases of the human DNA according to scientists. 97% of those have no function at all, so they believe. I don't believe that it's there and has no function. I believe it does have a function. They just have not discovered it yet. But anyway, the ENCODE project has tried very hard to uncover, if there is anything there, hidden messages in this useless piece of DNA they call junk DNA. In other words, it's hard to believe that junk DNA is junk. Many believe that we will find everything we seek in life once we manage to properly understand the 97% we currently believe is useless and called junk DNA. And this is on Bended Reality by Ancient Code. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.